Grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Julie's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Julie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rosé All Day, Julie's a Mess. This is episode 14. I cannot believe that next week will be my 15th installment of this wonderful show. 2021 has been very exciting, and we're already into June. It is officially June 1st. We can now start celebrating my birthday month. I mean, look, that is what it's all about. I have a Patreon subscription now on justjuleigh.com. So if you want to support this webcast and this vlogcast and everything justjuleigh.com, please check that out and click on the Patreon link. You can subscribe for as low as $5 a month. I'm starting to sound like I'm on QVC. Your next item is QC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just kidding. We also have merchandise on justjuleigh.com, and my Cash App and Venmo are below if you tune into our YouTube channel. For those of you listening at home, you can find me on Cash App at $Julie Mayfield, JuleighMayfield, and Venmo Julie Mayf, JuleighMayf. Send those gifts in. Mama needs a new bag. Tonight, our rosé is Rosé by Sutter Home. I broke the bottle in the kitchen because that's how I roll. And I was more importantly not stepping on glass so I could not have 7 toes this year instead of the 8 that I currently have. So it's Sutter Home Rosé All Day in my fashionable XX wine tumbler. Let's go ahead and get to who our guests are this week, all the way from Orlando. My very good friends. I love them so much. Manny and Nate. Hi, guys.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
What are y'all drinking tonight?
We're drinking a sparkling rosé tonight.
Fancy stuff.
That's so fancy. It goes with my rosé all day. I love it. Sutter Home. I just took the first step. It's not bad. I remember growing up, this is probably not the way to get a wine sponsor is by saying that Sutter Home is kind of a crap table wine, but it's actually pretty refreshing. So if you need a good wine, I did pick it up at CVS. It is Sutter Home's Rosé. They have gotten a little bit better since I've been in high school. That was a bunch of years ago. Yay, Sutter Home. And it's pretty refreshing.
It got better or you just got used to it?
No, because I've been trying to up my game. I think for my 15th episode next week, I'm buying a $30 bottle of rosé wine from Whispering Angel, which is Lisa Rinna's favorite. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to be bougie and housewifey and get my Whispering Angel rosé on. So I don't know, Sutter Home, I feel like I'm dredging it this weekend, but hey, Sutter Home, if you want to be my wine sponsor, if anybody wants to be my wine sponsor, go ahead and contact us at justjuleigh.com and we will get you set up for a future episode. Boys, guys, how do you know me?
How do you know Julie? Oh, you go.
Well, so I had the privilege of serving with Julie on the board of Come Out with Pride, which is Orlando's Pride Festival here in Central Florida. And Julie, let's see, I met you at our very first board meeting, I believe. We were meeting in one of the bars in downtown Orlando near Lake Eola. And we were meeting around was it a pool table? I feel like it was a pool table.
It was a pool table.
We were meeting around.
Really dark. You were late. I think you were late.
Yeah, I was coming from another meeting, so
you walked into the room and I basically couldn't quit looking at you. I was like, who cares what this meeting's about? Who's he?
Well, and I think Julie will probably tell the story that as we were leaving, You know, I was meeting all the board members for the first time, and I'm a hugger. So I walked up to Julie and I said, it was really nice to meet you. I'm a hugger, and so that's how we said goodbye. And yeah, but the rest is history.
He is a great hugger. Like if you ever need a really good hug, even if you're in the Orlando area and you don't know him and you see him walking down the street and you just need a good hug, ask him for one because he is a great hugger.
I think he's
free hugs, yeah, free hugs, right? Actually, there's a whole group of people that do that at Pride too, so it's not a bad.
I don't know, Nate. Your hugs are so good. I feel like you should charge for them. Honestly, maybe that's your side business. Hugs by Nate.
Yeah.
And then I started to call Nate Nader Tot because I just felt like that was appropriate with this golden Midwestern hair. I was like, oh, he looks like a little tater tot.
You just say that to all the boys.
I mean, I pretty much do. But thank you for calling me out on it. Hey. And then Manny, how did we meet?
So I was thinking about that, and I think we kind of had like 2 meets. So I think the first meet was through Chantel, I believe, and I was always kind of fascinated by you. I always thought you were so kind and sweet and fun to talk to. And then we didn't see each other for a while. And then Nate kept talking about Julie, and then you joined the Pride board, and then I realized who you were, and then we had another meet. So then I really got to know you. So it's kind of a fascinating kind of backstory.
Exactly. Yeah. I met you through Chantel, my drag mother, Chantel Rosé, and then we met again when you were dating, when you first started dating, and now look at you. I mean, y'all are engaged. So, I mean, that's fun stuff.
Yes.
I'm still searching for my diamond in the rough, but I'm glad that you two found each other. Okay. So this is the segment of the show where we kind of talk about current events. And I was explaining to the boys today that I had an off day today. I laid in bed all day long. I think the highlight of my day was I went outside and took some automotive spray paint and touched up Lolly, my truck, gave her some mascara. And then I came back in here and I hung my Rosé All Day sign, which my friend Flo bought for me. And I set this area up, and then I went back and laid in bed and talked to boys. So I'm not really prepared, go figure, for current events, but I did find out right before the show started that some random woman, her video went viral because she attacked a brown bear in defense of her dogs in California. And so I read that story, and she totally ran out, and like the dogs in true dog fashion were jumping up and down in the backyard after this brown bear that was walking along the wall, which happens in Southern California. And this woman totally ran out and started to beat the bear off in defense. I love my dogs. I don't have any right now, but I don't know if I'd do that.
Did she barely make it through?
Was it
here all week?
Was it a hairy attack?
It was a hairy. I'm practicing my dad jokes.
I mean, that's good. Practice them. That's good. That's good. We'll talk about why later, but that's good that you have dad jokes. Let's hear some more. What are some other ones?
Oh God, you're the king of the dad jokes.
Geez.
Yeah.
I need setups. I can't just roll them off.
My favorite dad joke is, what does a horny frog say? Rub it. Rub it. Rub it.
I'll use that one. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
We'll be here all week, folks. So this is a current event. A lot of people that have watched me from TikTok and have tried to parlay over into justjuleigh.com have not seen me go live in a week because I got banned.
Whoa,
that's something to talk about.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I got banned. But I mean, in defense, I mean, I did say a word during my live that is not really, I don't know. There are a lot of people on YouTube on TikTok that were saying, what? So many people say the N word and they never get banned. And I was like, right. And the word I said, I literally was doing my makeup and I dropped the mascara wand on my leg. And so like mascara ran down my white jeans. And I said, oh, cocksucker. And that's what I got banned for. So I was like, I see it. But
all those 15-year-olds on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, please. They know what a cocksucker is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, y'all are in Orlando. Y'all know what never mind. That's besides the point. Okay, so also in Florida, another current event is it sounds like Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida that so many people love, signed the trans bill today, which is about the sports that's going on. So I guess trans kids in Florida now cannot compete in sports.
Yeah, you have to compete under the gender you were assigned at birth.
I mean, I hate that for the trans community, but
I think it's
they could still play under the gender they were born and still kick ass. I mean, I've said since this bill came out that I feel like it's sometimes a way for the cisgendered community to get out of competition. Like, if you're good at something, you're good at it. And if you're not, you're not. Why does it matter what vessel the competitor's in? I mean, we could put a dog on the racetrack and they could beat half the people running a 700-mile relay. I mean, if you're good, you're good. And if you're not, you're not. I say it's a sucky bill and we should absolutely try and flip it and change it. But in the meantime, get out there and do your best and get that scholarship to college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and if history has anything to show us, I mean, it was just a few years ago that they had all the bathroom bills coming out in the different states. And I remember there were stories about, some of the larger corporations that were starting to threaten the states that they were going to pull out of their state if they continued to support that level of hate. So I imagine this will be short-lived. It'll be challenged in many different ways. It's annoying that we have to keep reliving history like this over and over again. They're not learning from it, but
it's just him lining up 2024 is all he's doing.
Sad reality of living lives is both. As somebody asked me the other day, what's something I missed from being in a male body? And I said, entertaining stuff to read on the bathroom stalls.
Fair point.
I mean, the last couple of stalls I've gone in public, which I don't like going public anyway, not for any other reason that sometimes just a bathroom in Home Depot is not as clean as you want it to be. But you go into women's bathrooms and it's all pictures of flowers and orchids and motivational sayings. And I'm like, gee, howdy, I really would like to look above the toilet bowl dispenser and find a really artistic rendering of a vagina. Like, I miss it. I feel like that's something Joan Rivers would say. I miss it. But
better views in the men's room, yes.
But now they have all these things you can't write on and you can't graffiti and then all these motivation. I'm like, the last thing a woman really wants to see when she sits down on the toilet is, you're a woman, you can do it. You can do anything a man can do. Go out and buy that stuff in Home Depot. And you're like, I really would like a dirty joke at that, but I think about the kind of guys that would be interested in me. And I don't mean it like slumlords. I just mean like the kind of guys that are interested in what I bring to the table are writing their numbers for free in the boys' restroom. I mean, they're into that because they're writing it in the boys' restroom. So I can like dial that number and be like, hey, I'm a little bit different than what you were looking for, but I saw your number on the inside of the Home Depot. I figured you're probably handy and maybe good looking. Should we try this out? I don't get that in the women's restroom.
And then my cell phone rings. I'm just kidding.
Manny, it was you.
It was me.
So guys, I want to say hi to some of the people that are joining us in chat right now. I said I'm going to get better at doing that. So I want to say hi to Blair. Hi
Hey there.
to Sharon, C Baby. Hi to the RS Typo. Hi to Charlie. Hi to Chris Burnham. Hi to, yep, that's about all. They're all talking in there. So that's great. They're all saying hi to each other. This is the part of the show. I have to pinch myself that this is my 14th episode, but we are at the part of the show called Juleigh's a Mess. And that is where I tell a story from my illustrious past and I let my guest finish the story. Now, in the 14 episodes that we've already done, Charlie, who's been a guest twice, has correctly guessed twice the ending of the stories. And he knows me pretty well. Some people have come pretty close. Alicia and Raphael came pretty close a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see how well Manny and Nate do. Manny and Nate do. So I was trying to think of a story when I was getting ready for the show today, and I always try and save it because I like everything to flow kind of organically and be really organic and not overly prepared, because I just think I do better that way. And for our listeners at home and for people that are currently watching, I think they enjoy it better that way. And it helps me kind of go back in my past and dig out some of these great stories. I was talking to Chris on the phone because he was trying to video chat with me and I was trying to do my makeup. And sweet boy, he said, "You don't need any makeup. You're gorgeous." And I was like, "Thank you. I need it for the camera." And I feel like the crypt keeper. But it reminded me of a great story from when I started in the business world, which was I used to be a counter manager at Macy's Herald Square and Macy's Short Hills Mall in Short Hills, New Jersey, for Club Monaco Cosmetics. And this was in my 20s. And so that's what the story's about tonight. So it's a makeup story. Yay. So I feel like this is appropriate. So you may be able to guess what happened. So here's the story. So I've been a counter manager at Club Monaco Makeup for about 7 or 8 months when this had happened. And we had a small crew at the Macy's in Short Hills, at the Short Hills Mall. And every morning, this older woman that worked in the mall would come through the makeup section. Now, you all know, especially now for those of you that are watching that have never been in a mall, right? So you're like in your 20s, and Lord knows we all forgot what department stores look like in this last year of COVID. But when you would go through big department stores, they have the makeup and jewelry sections and perfume sections kind of right in the middle of the mainstay of the store. And usually cosmetics and fragrance was right as you were wafting out into the mall, because they would use those things to kind of draw people in too. And the Club Monaco cosmetic stand was situated between Prescriptions, which used to be a makeup company, and a company called Fashion Fair, which was for African-American women. And we were one of the newer allotments in Macy's. So we were kind of pushed kind of back by shoes, and we would really have to have great events to get people to come that way to see us. And so that was really fun during that year. But we were across from Dior, and we were across from Clinique, and I think Estee Lauder was across from us. But there was a woman that would always come in every day that she worked in the mall, and she would stop, and we've all seen them. She would utilize and test all the makeup at every counter. Now, at first, on first glance, you would think she was just trying stuff, right? But I would notice on the mornings that I was there that she wasn't just trying things. She was coming in fresh-faced and doing her whole face at Estee Lauder or Clinique or Prescriptives or whatever it was. She didn't really go to Fashion Fair, but she was white, so I get it. But anyway, she every day she would go in. But I also noticed she never bought, ever. Now, Club Monaco, we had new products. We were basically a clothing store out of Canada, but they were trying out makeup for a while. And we had a new product called eye grease, which was similar to what Cher puts on her eyes, like that Vaseline kind of full coverage, glittery look. It was really cool. And we decided to do a promotion called Grease is the Word. And so I had all my staff come up and show up in like poodle skirts and leather jackets and dressed like the T-Birds and kind of Bad Sandy, which has always kind of been my thing. I can't wait to try and be here for Halloween this year. Anyway, that's another story for another day. So Grease is the Word. And we were really excited because we are going to be testing out this product. And, I was always having to shave the lipsticks with a business card, like all the old tricks of the trade, sharpen the pencils. And so it kind of made me mad when people would come in and utilize your product and then leave and go about their day and never come back and buy anything. And I thought, how are we supposed to sell stuff if we're constantly cutting the lipsticks and re-alcoholizing and patting the blush? And it just made me mad. And I was in my 20s. I wasn't as wise and grand and graceful as I am now. I definitely would make a point, and it would hit you like, well, I guess like a bear in your backyard trying to eat your dogs. So on this particular day, this woman came in and we were getting ready for our event, and she started to test our product. And I said, excuse me, would you like a makeover? Manny and Nate, how do you think this story ended for this week's episode of Julie's A Mess?
So my mother looked at you and said, "You're a bitch." That's how it ended.
That's not how it ended. Use your storytelling skills. You've got to practice your storytelling skills. You're about to become a dad.
You try.
No, go for it.
No, that's it. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. I met my mother.
Look, Manny, when you put your kids to bed in the future, it's not going to go well if you say, Grandma stopped by and said, "You're a bitch." Okay, cut your lights off and go to bed.
All right. So you said, okay, so set me up again. Sorry, one more time.
So I said, excuse me, would you like a makeover?
And she responded, well, I was thinking about it, but, I went over to the other counters and the people didn't address me quite as friendly as you have, so I will actually take a makeover, please.
And then
you said, excellent, let's get started. And you sit her down and you start talking her colors with her and choosing out the different things that you're going to use. And you're chit-chatting while she's sitting there. You're asking her questions about what she does, and she's telling you. And at the end, she ends up buying product from you.
That is close.
Okay.
That's
well.
Close. Okay. So she did end up buying product at the end. You did get that. Kudos for getting that. So the way the story went is she approached the counter and I said, excuse me, I noticed you're trying a lot of our products. Would you like a makeover? And she was like, well, I don't have a lot of time. And I said, look, I am a pro at the 5-minute phase. And I said, I know you are on your way to work, but I said, I will be able to give you an amazing look. I said, I'm wearing makeup today. And she was like, you are? And I was like, yes. And she was like, but you're a man. And I was like, right. But you can't tell I'm wearing it. And she was like, no. And I went, okay. I said, well, sit down in this chair. I'm going to use a little bit of our new product, eye grease, which we're promoting today. And I said, and I'm going to make you look so great for work. I said, maybe something like they're doing on the Paris runways. And she was like, oh my God, I would love it. I fed into every possible recess and resource I could to get her to trust me in 2 minutes. and then I made her over.
Excellent.
I gave her the look of a Paris runway, but it was a Paris runway, maybe 16th century courtesan Paris runway. I made her look like a fucking clown from the circus. I mean, we're talking Bianca Del Rio on fire. I gave her a little beauty mark, really bright rosy cheeks, poor lipstick. She couldn't tell. I turned all the mirrors away. I did put eye grease on her. So, I mean, that was good. I wasn't lying. Then when she turned around and gasped, I leaned over her shoulder and I said, I really am a pro at the 5-minute makeover, and I will take all of this off your face and remake you over for your workday if you buy a product. It can be a lipstick. It can be a lip liner. Our lip liners are $13. Our lipstick are $8. It's not going to empty your pocketbook like some of the other counters in the store. And not only will I do all that, but if you continue to come into this Macy's and use everybody's makeup and fragrance without buying one item a month, it'll be worse for you. Basically. And she looked at me. She looked at me and I said, and I had the wet wipes out already, and I wiped her down and I made her over and gave her a really soft summer palatable look with Club Monaco cosmetic offerings. And then she ended up buying a lip liner and a lipstick. And I was like, have a great day. Come back and see us. But that is, I quit shortly after that, but maybe she did. Hopefully she did. Hopefully she's watching this from somewhere in New Jersey and she looks amazing. But
there is an alternate ending to this story.
What?
If you've ever seen The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh, yes. I love that movie.
So you've got Joan Rivers and Miss Piggy working the makeup counter.
Yes.
At one of the department stores in Manhattan. And they're just like going nuts, like little rosy cheeks and lipstick and powder. And
I know they're laughing. It's great. I love that. And they
so
were
there's your
wearing,
alternate ending.
they were wearing the pink outfits with like the black and white polka dotted. I remember that from the Muppets Take Manhattan. You know, the other alternative ending is just Manny's mom saying, "You're a bitch."
Yeah.
That's usually how it works. Sorry, Mom. Rest in peace. Love you.
I love it. So that's our installment of Juleigh's a Mess for episode 14. I have asked people in the comments in the past couple of weeks to, most of you know my trajectory and you know my past. So if there's a story from my past that you would like to hear, or you would like me to talk about maybe my Disney time or maybe my Orlando Pride, even though I didn't really get into trouble at Orlando Pride, but anything, go ahead and comment or mention it under this video. We do see all comments at justjuleigh.com, and we would love to be able to entertain you with illustrious stories from my past. You know, in the past, we've talked about me being arrested for arson and me making a woman look like a clown at a makeup counter. So really, who knows what story I'll pull out next week or who my guest will be. We are fastly moving into 5 questions. We're at about the half-hour mark. So it's about 6:28 p.m. my time, so about 7:28 in Orlando. So 5 questions is where I ask my guests 5 questions. It can be about us. It can be about them. It can be about their sordid past. I'm just kidding. It's never really about their sordid past. But it gives everybody a chance at home that's listening an opportunity to get to know our guests a little bit better. And Blair is saying, still want to hear General Dollar Store meth head. Maybe that's next week, Blair. Maybe we talk about meth head at Family Dollar. I mean, we all know I did not last very long there, about 4 days before I quit. It just wasn't something I could do with the lupus and the osteoporosis. So we are looking for something else because Julie does want to get off of disability at some point. Anyway, 5 questions. So here we go. And I'm sorry, Chris, you are not a boy. You are a man. But I affectionately call the men in my life boys. So I've already done it to Manny and Nate or tots. So
Yeah.
it's okay. It comes from a
I'll
place
take
of
boy for as long as I can get it.
right? I'll be a girl. Don't call me a madam. Well, is there money in that? No, I'll take girl.
Maybe.
Maybe there is. Okay, so question number 1. How did the two of you meet?
I'm gonna let you tell this.
Oh, can I? You want the short story? I can give you like the highlights. We don't have that much
Yeah,
time.
do the clip notes. Clip notes.
Okay. So the cliff notes. It was Easter weekend. We're invited to a brunch. I was on another date with someone else and showed up at my friend's house. And this one came in a little bit late, so we were already having a couple of cocktails.
Nate or
And
Todd?
No, and I saw this pretty red hair just sort of hanging like that, and everything stopped. And I looked at him and I thought, who is this gorgeous specimen? And he says, hi, I'm Nate, and I'm sorry I'm late. Oh, it rhymed. Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm sorry I'm late, and that's all I got. And I'm late because...
And I see that you are here on a date.
And I see that you never mind. And then he says, but I'm late because my ex-husband just left my house. And I, what? You know, and the antennas went up and I said, oh, we have something in common because I just went through a divorce. So at that point, this is going to sound really horrible. And this other guy is still really good friends with me. I just sort of smacked him away a little bit and got over to Nate and got to know Nate a little bit better and sort of asked him out kind of on a date. I was asked Nate on a date. It's still going. And I think you kind of said yes. And then from there, I remember touching him or something. And I had one of those spiritual moments where I knew he was going to be my husband. So I didn't share that with him until after I proposed because that would have been creepy. And here we are. That's kind of how it happened. Yeah, I think that was a good abridged version. Okay, good. I didn't want to make the viewers fall apart.
I think it's so funny that you said I didn't tell him until after we were engaged, and it reminded me of something I read today that said, tender kisses and whispers at night from your partner are wonderful unless you're in prison.
So true. I wanted to avoid that whole thing.
That's creepy. That's so cute. Okay. Nate and Manny asking about each other. What is your contemporary? So Nate, you would be saying Manny, and Manny, you would be saying for Nate. What is their best quality?
Oh, wow. Ooh. You go first.
Manny is an amazing social secretary.
This is true.
He keeps our social calendar totally well organized, full as can be. Case in point, Friday night we had drinks with 2 friends, and then after that we had dinner with 2 other friends. And it didn't feel compressed or back to back, but you know, I'm more of an introvert. I tend to love being home a lot. And this one brings me out of my shell, so that's a good thing. So yes, excellent social secretary.
Oh, thank you.
Hands down.
Okay, so now the best quality about him, huh? I'd say that he can put up with my crazy ass. So that's definitely probably one of the best people I've met. But no, in all honesty, he is extremely patient, extremely kind, and just one of the most genuine people I've ever met.
Yeah, he lets you buy a sports car and drive it around the neighborhood. Like,
no, nobody lets me do anything.
No, but fun fact, Julie actually got the first ride.
That's right.
In that car.
You were the first one. It literally went from the dealership to your house. Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty spectacular. I do have to say in my defense, usually I do get the first ride all around, and never mind, we're not going there. But it was a wonderful experience. I mean, it did make me go, maybe I need a sports car and not a husband.
Exactly.
It was a little bit of a bittersweet day, if I remember, though, because you were like just about to depart Orlando.
Yeah, I
So,
think I left the next day, which in retrospect, I wish you'd pulled up next to me on the way to Nebraska and said, get in, you're moving to the wrong state. I would have hopped right back in and gone right back to Orlando with you. So, but I mean, yeah, it was a little bittersweet. We got to spend the night, we spent the night. This is not tawdry, people. I went over and had wine and pizza with them the night before. There was a horrible thunderstorm in Orlando, and then I got to ride in the sports car. So
it's still here for the next time you come through.
oh well, you know, Auntie Julie may be coming by. Blair had a great question, and it filters into one of my next questions. So question 3 for you guys is, you guys are on the adoption track and will be adopting in this next year. Blair wants to know, what do you anticipate will be one of the biggest joys of having children?
Oh, that's a good question.
Do you want to take the first stab?
Oh yeah. Actually, I'll go for it. I think that since it's an older child, we specialize in the company I work for, the adoption agency, works with older children and siblings. So a lot of these children are teenagers, and if you know anything about the adoption world, once you hit 10 to 12, you're pretty much, it's over. You're just going to age out because you're tainted, nobody wants you, that type of thing. So we decided that if we're going to do this, we want to give some of these older kids a chance to maybe turn their lives around, have some trajectory, maybe go to college or trade school, or just have a home to come to during Christmas, holidays, that type of thing. So we basically just want to share what we have with certain people. So hopefully that was a good answer.
So for me, it goes back a long ways, actually. So like when I first came out, so I grew up in South Dakota, as you know, Julie, right? And it wasn't exactly a time or a place that you could come out as a teenager. And I really struggled with that when I was a kid. I didn't come out until I was 20 when I was in college. And it really took me a lot to get through that first year as I was coming out. The biggest thing I had difficulty reconciling was, how could I have a family and be myself? Because I couldn't figure out the social programming for that. It didn't compute. And it took a couple of people educating me about things like surrogacy and adoption. And, I knew adopted families. I had cousins that were adopted, but hadn't really put that into the context of a relationship. And so for me, it's something I've always wanted to do, is to be a dad. But, it's hard because it's like, when's the right time to do it, right? I think the thing that I'm looking most forward to is that my parents really gave me just like unconditional love for everything. When I was younger, as I'm an adult, right? Everything. For a kid not to get that from their parents breaks my heart. And to read some of the stories of these kids that we've read over the last few months, some of them are horrific. You need a box of tissues and a bottle of wine just to get through them. But I'm really looking forward to changing someone's life in a really big way and showing them love that they've never even known that they could experience. So,
well, that's so sweet. I love that. And you don't have to put a fence up around your pool. I mean, there's a positive to having them a little bit older. Hopefully they'll know how to swim.
You do have to lock up the liquor cabinet and the keys to the sports car.
Well, yes. And oh my gosh, can you imagine waking up in the middle of the night and your sports car baby's gone? I'd be like, what? Look at Manny's face. He's like, that will not be happening.
That's foster care. No, just kidding.
That will not be happening. Okay, Double D, David just joined us in the chat. Hi, David. It's good that you're here. Miss you as well. Let's see. I want to try and mix in a question about us. Okay, here's a good one. So, because I was with you literally the night before I left, what is maybe a positive that you thought, okay, like she's moving? Like, what's maybe a positive from that? And maybe what was one of your concerns?
Ooh. You want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay,
I've got a
go.
good one.
Okay.
So my positive was my favorite, right? So anybody seen Tu Wong Fu? Little fact, right? The movie was actually filmed in a little tiny town called Loma, Nebraska.
Loma.
Just happens to be like 15 minutes, like, you know, you basically drive down and you drive over and you drive down and you're there.
I took Charlie there a couple of weeks ago. Charlie was here and I took him there. And I mean, sadly, it's dump now. It's just
It's so beautiful before.
Well, we actually a bunch of us want to buy it and like rebuild the community and rebuild the town, but that's probably about a 5-year out project, and I may not be here by then, but I would come back for it. But
Julie, you could rename it Schitt's Creek.
Let's not do that to Shits.
Shits is nicer.
Yeah, true.
No, my friend Charlie went there and he was like, it's so sad. He goes, and I said, look, it's sad because had the gay community been a little more welcoming even 20 years ago, you know, that movie came out almost 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody could have really capitalized on keeping that town a movie location, right, and really kind of done it right and had bars there and antique stores and
a strawberry festival.
A strawberry festival. Yeah. But seriously, you could have drag shows there. I mean, the town itself is really lackluster and there aren't a lot of people that live there anymore. And it would be great to kind of revitalize that area, open up a drag bar, open up a country western bar for the area. You know, even have lookalikes there, but even have drag shows every weekend and just make it once a year, have the strawberry festival and have people come back. I think it's a missed opportunity, and have a bed and breakfast there. I mean, there's not a lot to do around Loma. I mean, Wahoo is close and Lincoln's about probably 30, 40 minutes, but it would still be a very viable opportunity to bring money back into that area and really kind of revitalize it. And maybe even end up putting like a wayward home for kids that don't have a family, or for, you know, just there's a lot that could really come from that. So that's interesting. But not to take away from your story.
No. So I was really excited to actually know somebody who could step foot in that town. We were talking about it extensively with Julie before she left. And I was excited to have you there. We even talked about having you like do a live anchor report from Loma, Nebraska, this, you know, for the Pride in the House, which was our virtual Pride Festival last year here.
That would
have been funny. Yeah. We should have done it. Oh well. We could still do it again this year, maybe.
We can find drag queens.
You could do your next broadcast from there.
Alone in Loma. Alone in Loma, that's it.
Oh, Loma. I'll send you a postcard. It'll just be a tumbleweed like blowing across the screen. All right, your turn.
The thing I was most concerned about then, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Most
concerned about, and Manny and I actually sent a little gift to Julie when she first arrived in Nebraska.
Was it the bug spray?
No, it was an ice scraper for her car. I was concerned about her in winter.
I just put it in my
Southern girl.
I just put it back in my truck because I was like, if I move or if I stay, I want to make sure I have my Nate and Manny ice scraper. And so, I mean, it came in handy a couple of times. because I experienced my first ice storm this year that I'd ever had in my life, and it was terrifying. So that came in handy. Thank you for it. Manny, you're up.
My turn. Okay, so the good thing and the bad thing, right?
Mhm.
So not a lot of good things. I'd say I was excited for your adventure.
That's a good thing.
Well, no, hold on, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
But I was sad that you were leaving because I felt like I was really just getting to kind of know you, and I know we wanted to have you over for so long, and schedules kept clashing, and and then lo and behold, you make it, and then you're leaving. So, but I'm glad we've been able to keep our friendship going. But that was sort of bittersweet. I was concerned at who this man was that you were maybe going over there with. So, and I think we talked a little bit about that that evening. So, but sometimes you just gotta jump on that horse and ride it for as long as you can, right? And
Unfortunately, that relationship and friendship did not last, and the last couple of months have had to I've had to deal with that fully. But it's set me, like I was telling you before the podcast, I've really realized a lot about who I am this year, and who I want to be, and where I want to be. And so it's not a bad thing. I feel like everything that happens to us in life is still a lesson. And I had said to somebody the other day, had I not come to Nebraska and had I not been in this situation, I probably wouldn't have met Blair, and I wouldn't have met the people that have helped me come, get this podcast off and rolling, and get justjuleigh.com off and rolling. And so there are a lot of positives that came out of the last year, but I am looking forward to what the next year is bringing. And of course, I'll have 2 new friends on the front of my chest that are helping me celebrate it.
And I will say, in that last year, you've come so far, so you have grown quite a lot. It's been kind of fun to watch, and I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Oh, thank you. Guys, we're up to question number 4.
Oh,
is June is Pride Month. So what's maybe something that's happening that's new in Orlando this year that you're excited about going to or being a part of? There may not be anything, but I mean, I know that I think they're doing straight men real makeup at House in the next couple of weeks, and I know they're doing something for Pulse.
So that is one thing that's actually new in Orlando that we're super excited about. So we've spent quite a bit of time there, actually. We spent my birthday at House on Church, and we love Blue Star. She is a rock star.
Shout out.
And she's also of the former Pride board member family too. So, but yeah, she has a really, really lovely spot there, and the food is great. So we've really enjoyed that. That's been one of our favorite things, I think. And for them to open during the pandemic and to be doing so well, I think it's awesome.
And that's on Church Street, right? House on Church Street, and it's spelled H-A-U-S with the
H-A-U-S.
Yeah, it's more like house.
House.
That's a nice.
I also hear that there's the city of Orlando is looking at a new master plan for the Lake Eola
band shell.
Yeah, well, band shell, but like expanding the park and adding new areas. And so I don't know all the details of it, so I can't speak intelligently about it, but I do know that that's happening, and that's really exciting for everything for our Pride Festival. As you know, in June, it's in October because June in Orlando, between the rain and the heat, oh my.
Now, is it October? Is it still the weekend of the 9th, 10th? Is it still that?
It's on October 9th this year. And we're, the board is still being very cautious about things. I mean, I think I read, what was it, the statistic for Florida right now, as of today, at least one dose has been given to about 10.5 million, almost 10.6 million people. And that's 49% of the population. 39% of the population, about 8.4 million, are fully vaccinated. That's across the state of Florida. In Orlando, Orange County, I think it was a little lower than that. think we were like 45 or 46% last I heard. So
That's
it's good. It's good, but we're definitely low on the averages across the country.
I know. I get my second shot on the 3rd on Thursday, so I'm excited about it. I did it for different reasons. I wasn't going to because of all my autoimmune issues and because people have said don't go get it. And I know my mom's probably watching this and she's like, Julie, I told you not to get it. But I literally felt like, look, I may be at the tail end of my life anyway. You know, like there were a lot of like, I did the pros and cons thing. And I mean, for me, my breast surgery at the end of the month is super important. Now, for those at home, I'm not transitioning. I'm not just getting boobies. I'm getting an upgrade. I literally turn 46 on the 18th of this month. That's why I said it's my birthday month. And I'm getting a lift and a small upgrade on volume because I want those puppies to be right here. And I told somebody the other day, it's more just because as I travel more and more, if you use a travel pillow, it's really unflattering, this part of your body, and it messes your hair up. But if I get the volume and the lift that I want, I'll be able to just kind of rest my chin right here on all air flights. And then I won't mess up anything. Right? I mean, nothing will get messed up. So look, they were uneven when I was telling that story. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'll be like right here. So, but I got the COVID shot because they were like, if you have COVID, we're not going to operate. I was like, nothing is getting in the way of June 28th for me. So, so that's why I went and got it done. But now that I have it.
Did you tolerate the first one okay?
Yeah, didn't have a problem at all.
Good.
I mean, I literally thought a week into it, I was like, did I get a placebo? Did CVS like give me sugar water? Because I didn't have a problem at all. And I didn't really notice if my arm was stiff or anything. I got the Pfizer. So I figured if they're good at making Viagra and men's penises stand up for 6 hours, sure, why not?
They can do this.
Give me the Pfizer. And now I can, now that I'm vaccinated, maybe, and I'm a quasi celebrity, maybe I can come back and ride in the parade.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like, no. No. So let's see. We're up to question 5. I was scanning the chat to see if we had any. Hi, Gary. It's nice to see you in here. To see if we had any more questions. I think my 5th question would be talking about Orlando's upgrade and kind of coming right off of that and just talking about some of the things that are happening in Orlando. What is a wish that each of you sees for the future of Orlando?
I want to say something really politically correct, but oh boy.
Say it.
I mean, honestly, this is so correct, but I think honestly the city is just outgrowing itself very quickly. We are getting thousands of people a day moving in here. A lot of it has been because, well, we kept things open, or we opened early. And I know I'm from New York originally. So a lot of my friends from New York are literally moving down because they are so tired of the politics in New York. I'm not against the politics in New York, but I'm just saying they are, and they want out of there. And it really affected the economy quite a bit, as it did everywhere. But they saw Florida as, this promised land. So now a lot of them are selling their homes, and the homes are worth quite a bit up there. So they're selling them and coming down here with cash, and they're buying in. So I think it's good for our economy, but at the same time, as you know, we just went through this nightmare of an I-4 expansion, and by the time it's done, it will have outgrown itself. So I just noticed it this morning going to work. The traffic is getting to be quite something now that we're all starting to go back to the office.
I graduated from Lake Highland Preparatory in '94, and we were working on I-4 then. Like, even when I lived in town, I was like, I feel like they've been working on it for the last 30 years. And somebody said, well, every time they finish a section, they're having to go back and repair a section that they already worked on. But it seems never ending.
Yeah. So that's just I'm happy about it because, we all sort of benefit from it. But at the same time, I'm a little concerned about infrastructure. Yeah. How about you?
I would say probably to the bike lanes and having a better bike system. So we have some really awesome bike trails around Orlando and around Central Florida. But some of them don't exactly take the best routes. The city did, with some of the I-4 expansion, start doing a lot of things with infrastructure to make sure that there were safer passage crossings for really busy areas. And I think we saw something the other day going up to Sanford that there's this massive bike bridge and foot pedestrian bridge that goes across I-4, like in Altamont, that area. So I would love to see them really try to connect up some of the systems like the West Orange Trail out to like, downtown area and then on over to like the Katy Way Trail. It would be great to connect them all up so we have this massive bike system. And then also the inroads, because there are areas in town where you'll see it was supposed to be a bike lane, but the city or the county haven't been maintaining it. And so the pavement's crumbling and there's like debris in it, and sometimes they'll put cones in it. It's like, well, are you discouraging us from using it? Like, because it says,
do you want a biker in that way? Right. And a lot of people are really active. A lot of the Orlando community is very active, and they like to run and bike, and you really have all kind of outdoor warriors out there, and so it's important to maintain those areas. I think that's good. Yeah. So guys, we are now at the part of the show, because we're coming up on our hour together, where you guys get to ask me one question about my medical journey that you've always wanted to know about being XXY, about being intersex, just living an intersex life. And when you ask this question, it gives me an opportunity to answer it for my close dear friends, but also educate the rest of the world that may be joining us or listening to us about what it's like to be Juleigh in an intersex life. So there are two of you. So if you both have questions, that's fine. But you have the floor.
Okay. So I've been following your story a little bit about your attempt to get your birth certificate changed. And I know that you had some trouble in your birth state, and you brought that to Florida to try to get recognition here so that you could attempt to get them to recognize it back in your birth state. I don't know where things are with that, so I'd love to hear more about that. I know last we talked, I think you were just waiting on your decision. So where are we with that, Juleigh?
So yes, I was born in Alabama, and Alabama says that in order to change the gender marker on your birth certificate, you need to prove that you've had sexual reassignment surgery. I don't know what proof they actually want, if they want to see the actual surgery being done, if they want to see photos, before and after photos. I feel like with Alabama, it's so backwards, and I don't know why I would think it would be any other way. But initially, I was working with Irene Pons, Beatrice, from UCF. She teaches law at UCF. I got to speak and have a section of the student population there in the law school be a part of filing a petition for a gender marker change in Florida, and seeing if Florida would recognize that I did not need sexual reassignment surgery, that being born intersex and having a chromosomal and genetic variation would be enough, because by birth and by science, I literally am a conglomeration of both genders. And so Florida recognized it. In September of this last year of 2020, a judge in Miami-Dade said, yes, you do not need sexual reassignment surgery to prove that you are female. You are also male. Florida recognizes it and grants you a positive decision, which is great. And that's awesome for everybody that's intersex in Florida because it sets a precedent for any intersex laws being enacted right in the state of Florida. But my birth certificate is in Alabama. Now, people go, why do it in Florida then? I've lived in Florida for so many years and so much a part of my life that they felt like if Florida recognized it, Alabama would then have to recognize it. There is a particular clause that states if another state's done it, more than likely we should just follow suit. I don't know the name or the terminology directly. Irene has talked about that before when she's been with me on this show. Alabama came back and said, it's not enough. We don't subscribe to that theory. We need proof that you have a vagina. I didn't have to get one. Having my ovary and testicle removed, having a partial hysterectomy on my partial uterus, that wasn't enough. Alabama wants to see a very cut and dry opening between your legs. And if you were changing your gender from female to male, they would want to see a phallus. And that's just so archaic to me. But it also opened Alabama up for litigation at that point.
Right.
So we are in the process of finding a lawyer in Alabama. I think Irene has found two. One was recommended by Elizabeth Schwartz out of Miami, who did my case for Florida, who works a lot with the LGBT plus community and with transgendered people in Florida. And another one was just found through circulation of the case. We're trying to see if it can be done pro bono, because I can't afford to do anything at this point. But that's where we are kind of right now. I am suing the state of Alabama for the change of my gender marker, but also for restitution for, because I can't get certain things done. Can't file for a bank loan. Can't get my passport updated. Can't, and it's so hard because my driver's license reflects who I am. And every other government agency reflects who I am, which is Juleigh, and understands that I'm intersex, and I didn't have to jump through these flaming fire hoops. But Alabama is still being very staunch and saying, no, prove to us that you had a vagina, and then pay us $40, and then we'll think about changing your gender. So that's where we're at the moment. Frustrating? Yes. Will I be able to travel when the travel ban's lifted? No. But it is what it is. We did find a loophole where I could still go get my passport updated, but I'm in the fight now. And I don't want to use a loophole to get out of something that could better the future for the intersex people behind me or that are in my community that may be coming up against the same thing. And so it's important now for me to see it through. And if that means I don't get my passport updated until 2030, then I guess I'm going to be using a lot of bike paths in Orlando to get where I'm going. But, it is what it is.
Well, I'm sorry that you're still dealing with that with Alabama, but I'm glad at least that Florida recognized it. That, of course, is great news, and I think I'd heard that. But it's great to hear it coming straight from you too.
Well, there were no laws on the book in Orlando or Florida for intersex people. So if anything, it's a check mark in my corner. But it also is paving that road and that way for intersex people that are in Florida that are coming forward to say, we're here and recognize us. And we're not trans, but we are a part of the community and see us and give us what we need. So, I mean, it's a win, however you want to look at it. I just wish Alabama could be a little more forthcoming.
Yeah.
In their decision-making process.
Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. Manny, did you have a question?
No, I think that covered it. Yeah,
Well,
I had some questions about that, but I think you covered it. So
that is awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this week. I miss
You're
you guys so
welcome.
much. I will
You
definitely
too.
hope to get back to Orlando and see you guys soon, if not to ride in the Pride Parade. I'm kidding.
Absolutely. We've got a guest room.
On the Supra.
And
Yes,
just
on the Supra.
yeah, and just to see, well, you know, and breakfast fun. Wink, wink. I'm going to end this show, and you guys, y'all can stick around and we can talk a little bit afterwards. But I am, once again, Patreon on Just Julie. If you'd like to support this show and you're listening to us or watching us, know that you can catch us on iTunes and Spotify, usually on the Wednesday of the show. And so tomorrow of each week. And then you can watch us on YouTube, and you can watch past episodes as well. Next week will be our 15th anniversary of Julie's A Mess, Rosé All Day. I'm so excited. If you'd like to be a guest, reach out. We will get you on here. If you'd like to be a wine sponsor, reach out. I would love to drink your labor. That didn't sound right at all. But anyway, I do need a wine sponsor. And join us next week as we try a new rosé. This week it was Sutter Home's rosé, and it was delicious. Thanks for everybody that joined us in chat. I love you all. Thank you for your support, and we will see all of you next week. Bye, everybody.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Julie, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Julie tries a different rosé.